Welcome back, in part 7 of Twitter/X. In June 2009, after being criticized by Kanye West and sued by Tony La Russa over unauthorized accounts run by impersonators, the company launched their Verified Accounts program.
Twitter stated that an account with a blue tick verification badge indicates we've been in contact with a person or entity the account is representing and verified that it is approved.
In July 2016, Twitter announced a public application process to grant verified status to an account if it is determined to be of public interest and that verification does not imply an endorsement.
Verified status allows access to some features unavailable to other users, such as only seeing mentions from other verified accounts.
In November 2020, Twitter announced the relaunch of its verification system in 2021.
According to the new policy, Twitter verifies 6 different types of accounts, for 3 of them, companies, brands, and influential individuals like activists. The existence of a Wikipedia page will be one criterion for showing that the account has off-Twitter notability.
Twitter states that it will reopen public verification applications at some point in early 2021. In October 2022, after the takeover of Twitter by Elon Musk, it was reported that verification would instead be included in the paid Twitter Blue service, and that existing verified accounts would lose their status if they do not subscribe.
On November 1, Musk confirmed that verification would be included in Blue in the future, dismissing the existing verification system as a lords and peasants system.
Following concerns over the possibility of impersonation, Twitter subsequently re-implemented a second official marker, consisting of a great tick and official text displayed under the username for high-profile accounts of government and commercial entities. In December 2022, the official text was replaced by a gold checkmark for organizations, as well as a gray checkmark for government and multilateral accounts. In March 2023, the gold checkmark was made available for organizations to purchase through the Verified Organizations program, formerly called Twitter Blue for Business. Twitter verification is a system intended to communicate the authenticity of a Twitter account.
Since November 2022, Twitter users whose accounts are at least 90 days old and have a verified phone number receive verification upon subscribing to X Premium or verified organizations. This status persists as long as the subscription remains active.
When introduced in June 2009, the system provided the site's readers with a means to distinguish genuine notable account holders, such as celebrities and organizations, from imposters or parodies.
Until November 2022, a blue checkmark displayed against an account name indicated that Twitter had taken steps to ensure that the account was actually owned by the person or organization whom it claimed to represent.
The checkmark does not imply endorsement from Twitter and does not mean that tweets from a verified account are necessarily accurate or truthful in any way.
People with verified accounts on Twitter are often colloquially referred to as blue checks on social media and by reporters.
In November 2022, the verification program was modified heavily by new owner Elon Musk, extending verification to any account with a verified phone number and an active subscription to an eligible X Premium, formerly Twitter Blue, plan.
These changes faced criticism from users in the media who believed that the changes would ease impersonation and allow accounts spreading misleading information to fade credibility.
In a related change, Twitter introduced additional gold and gray checkmarks used by verified organizations and government-affiliated accounts, respectively.
Twitter claims that the changes to verification are required to reduce fraudulent accounts and bots.
Twitter users who have been verified through the previous system were known as legacy verified accounts. Legacy verification was deprecated in April 2023 and stripped from accounts who do not meet the new payment requirements.
Musk later implied that he had been personally paying for the X Premium subscriptions of several notable celebrities.
In June 2009, after being criticized by Kanye West and sued by Tony La Russa over unauthorized accounts run by impersonators, the company launched their Verified Accounts program.
Twitter stated that an account with a blue tick verification badge indicates we've been in contact with a person or entity the account is representing and verified that it is approved.
After the data period, the company stated in their FAQ that it proactively verifies accounts on an ongoing basis to make it easier for users to find who they're looking for, and that they do not accept requests for verification from the general public.
Originally, Twitter took on the responsibility of reaching out to celebrities and other notable people to confirm their identities in order to establish a verified account.
In July 2016, Twitter announced a public application process to grant verified status to an account if it is determined to be of public interest, and that verification does not imply an endorsement.
In 2016, the company began accepting requests for verification, but it was discontinued the same year.
Twitter explained that the volume of requests for verified accounts had exceeded its ability to cope. Rather, Twitter determines on its own whom to approach about verified accounts, limiting verification to accounts which are authentic, notable, and active. In November 2020, Twitter announced the relaunch of its verification system in 2021.
According to the new policy, Twitter verifies 6 different types of accounts, for 3 of them, companies, brands, and influential individuals like activists. The existence of a Wikipedia page will be one criterion for showing that the account has off-Twitter notability.
On June 21, 2014, actor William Shatner raised an issue with several engaged editorial staff and their verification status on Twitter.
Besides the site's social media editor, John Colucci, Shatner also targeted several junior members of the staff for being nobodies. Unlike some of his actor colleagues who did not bear such distinction.
Shatner claimed Colucci and the team were bullying him when giving a text interview to Mashable.
Over a month later, Shatner continued to discuss the issue on his Tumblr page, to which Engadget replied by defending its team and discussing the controversy surrounding the social media verification.
Twitter's practice and process for verifying accounts came under scrutiny again in 2017 after the company verified the account of white supremacist and far-right political activist Jason Chesler.
Many who criticized Twitter's decision to verify Chesler's account saw this as a political act on the company's behalf.
In response, Twitter put its verification process on hold.
The company tweeted, verification was meant to authenticate identity and voice, but it is interpreted as an endorsement or an indicator of importance. We recognize that we have created this confusion and need to resolve it. We have paused all general verifications while we work and will report back soon.
As of November 2017, Twitter continued to deny verification of Julian Assange's account following his requests. In November 2019, Dalit activists of India allege that higher caste people get Twitter verification easily and trended hashtags cancel all blue ticks in India and hashtag casteist Twitter.
Critics have said that the company's verification process is not transparent and causes digital marginalization of already marginalized communities.
Twitter India rejected the allegations, calling them impartial and working on a case-by-case policy. Following the acquisition of Twitter by Elon Musk on October 28, 2022, Musk told Twitter employees to introduce paid verification by November 7 through Twitter Blue.
The Verge reported that the updated Blue subscription would cost $19.99 per month, and users would lose their verification status if they did not join within 90 days.
Following backlash, Musk tweeted in response to author Stephen King a lowered $8 price on November 1, 2022.
Twitter confirmed a new price of $7.99 per month on November 5, 2022.
The new verification system began rollout on November 9, 2022, a day after the 2022 United States elections.
The decision to delay its rollout was to address concerns about users potentially spreading misinformation about voting results by posing as news outlets and lawmakers.
At the same time, Twitter introduced a secondary gray official label on some high-profile accounts, but removed them hours after launch.
Less than 48 hours later, Twitter reinstated the gray official label after multiple users were suspended for deliberately impersonating reporters and high-profile athletes like LeBron James.
A viral tweet from an account purporting to be the pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly and Company caused the company's stock to fall after announcing insulin is free now.
As a result, Twitter disabled new Blue subscriptions on November 11, 2022.
On December 12, 2022, Twitter Blue was relaunched again with some changes, including an increased price of $11 for users who sign up through iOS devices to compensate for the 30% cut imposed by Apple.
Twitter stated that only Twitter accounts older than 90 days and with a confirmed phone number are able to subscribe, and blue check marks are issued once Twitter reviews the account, and any changes to the profile will result in the loss of the blue check mark until Twitter can review the account again.
The official labels were replaced with verified organizations, which are displayed with a gold checkmark and square-shaped avatars, as opposed to circular avatars for all other accounts. This program costs $1,000 per month, with verified organizations able to add verification to affiliated accounts, for an additional fee of $50 per month for each account.
Gray check marks were also added for government accounts on Twitter.
Accounts that had been verified through the previous system were renamed to Legacy Verified, with Musk calling the previous system corrupt and nonsensical in a tweet, and stating that blue checkmarks on those accounts would be removed in a few months.
Musk claimed that the impersonation issue was resolved by manually reviewing all applications, but the Washington Post tech columnist Jeffrey A. Fowler was able to create an impersonation account of Senator Ed Markey, which was promptly verified after subscribing to Twitter Blue and only suspended after Fowler's story was published.
On April 24, 2023, a parody account of the defunct Disney Junior channel in the United Kingdom was verified with a gold checkmark.
The account, which tweeted profanities and claimed that South Park and Family Guy would be coming to Disney Junior, became viral and was later suspended.
On March 23, 2023, Twitter announced that on April 1, 2023, it would begin winding down its legacy verification program and removing legacy verified checkmarks.
The New York Times reported that exceptions would be made for Twitter's top 500 advertisers and its 10,000 most followed organizations that had been previously verified.
BuzzFeed News reported that multiple news organizations like the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Los Angeles Times had no plans to pay for Twitter's verified organizations service, nor would they reimburse reporters for having Twitter Blue.
Similarly, Axios reported that White House Digital Strategy Director Rob Flaherty sent an internal email to staffers saying, "There are ongoing trials for the program that we are monitoring, but we will not enroll in it."
Twitter did not immediately begin removing checkmarks on April 1, 2023.
The Washington Post reported that the removal of verification badges is a largely manual process powered by a system prone to breaking, and in the past, there was no way to reliably remove badges at a bulk scale, according to former Twitter employees.
However, on April 2, 2023, the main account for the New York Times became one of the first major media companies to lose its verified status on Twitter.
The loss of verification came after Musk replied, "Okay, we'll take it off then," to a Twitter user who tweeted that the New York Times would not pay for Twitter verification.
He criticized the newspaper for tweeting hundreds of posts every day, including drafts that were not accepted into the published editions of the paper, and inundating the daily feed of users who followed it.
Despite the deadline for Twitter Blue passing, an aside from the New York Times, many legacy verified accounts continued to retain their verified status.
Twitter also updated the language previously used to distinguish between legacy and Twitter Blue verified users, merging them into a single description, and later unfollowed all legacy verified accounts.
On April 11, 2023, Musk announced the final date for removing legacy blue checkmarks to be April 20.
Despite skepticism due to the chosen date, Twitter began removing legacy checkmarks on April 20, 2023.
Among those that lost their verified status included Cristiano Ronaldo and Diaz.
Following the removal of legacy verification, Twitter began verifying the accounts of several celebrities who had been critical of and did not purchase Twitter Blue, including Stephen King, LeBron James, Hassan Piker, and Drew.
Musk implied that he was paying for their subscriptions personally.
A day later, Twitter updated its policy for Twitter ads, requiring all advertisers to be subscribed to verified organizations, but businesses spending at least $1,000 a month in advertising would automatically receive membership in the verified organizations program at no additional cost.
On April 22, 2023, Twitter seemingly began issuing blue and gold checkmarks to accounts with at least 1 million followers, including those belonging to deceased users such as Anthony Burden, Chadwick Boseman, and Kobe Bryant.
Since the blue checkmark now indicates an active Twitter Blue subscription, several high-profile users began looking for ways to remove it, usually by briefly changing their display name. On April 25, 2023, Musk announced that posts by verified accounts would now be prioritized ahead of unverified users, but behind those of the user's own follows, in replies to tweets. On April 30, 2023, multiple legacy verified users began noticing a bug that temporarily restored the legacy blue checkmark by changing their bio. On October 17, 2023, X announced that it would trial a scheme requiring new users who register via the website in New Zealand and the Philippines to pay US $1 per year in order to use the platform.
If the user does not subscribe, they will only receive read-only access to the platform.
It was stated that this system was required to bolster our already significant efforts to reduce spam, manipulation of our platform and bot activity. Prior to the introduction of paid Twitter verification after the acquisition of Twitter by Elon Musk, verified status was a highly sought-after qualification among Twitter users.
Since Twitter alone granted blue check marks, they could use them as a passive inducement for users to create more content.
Allison Byrne argued in 2017 that they introduce a new social class of Twitter users.
This can cause tension between verified and non-verified users of the site when Twitter temporarily locked out verified accounts. In the aftermath of the 2020 Twitter account hijacking, many non-verified users celebrated it.
After the blue checkmark was made available as a paid subscription in 2022, reporters noted trolls spreading conspiracy theories about COVID-19 vaccines using the checkmark to feign credibility. Several fake accounts surfaced following Twitter's move to eliminate the blue tick verification on April 20, 2023.
An account pretending to be Hillary Clinton announced her intention to run for the presidency again.
The said fake account used an identical profile photo as that of the former U.S. Senator's legitimate handle.
Moreover, a new Twitter handle in New York City claimed to be a legitimate account representing the government.
The BBC has noted that the increase in sponsored verification would heighten the spread of false information on the platform. Tweets are public, but users can also send private, direct messages.
Information about who has chosen to follow an account and who a user has chosen to follow is also public, though accounts can be changed to protected, which limits this information. And all tweets to approved followers.
Twitter collects personally identifiable information about its users and shares it with third parties as specified in its privacy policy.
The service also reserves the right to sell this information as an asset if the company changes hands.
Advertisers can target users based on their history of tweets and make web tweets in ads directed specifically to the user. Twitter launched the beta version of their verified accounts service on June 11, 2009, allowing people with public profiles to announce their account name.
The profile pages of these accounts display a badge indicating their status.
On December 14, 2010, the United States Department of Justice issued a subpoena directing Twitter to provide information for accounts registered to or associated with WikiLeaks.
Twitter decided to notify its users and said, "It's our policy to notify users about law enforcement and governmental requests for their information, unless we are prevented by law from doing so."
In May 2011, a claimant known as CTV, in the case of CTV v. Twitter Incorporated, took action against Twitter at the High Court of Justice of England and Wales, requesting that the company release details of account holders.
This followed gossip posted on Twitter about professional footballer Ryan Giggs' private life.
The This led to the 2011 British Privacy Injunctions controversy and the Super Injunction.
TaBNWNE, the head of Twitter in Europe, said that people who do bad things on the site would need to defend themselves under the laws of their own jurisdiction. In the event of controversy, and that the site would hand over information about users to the authorities when it was legally required to do so.
He also suggested that Twitter would accede to a UK court order to divulge names of users responsible for illegal activity on the site. Twitter acquired Agent, a startup that offers malware protection for businesses, in January 2012.
Twitter announced plans to use Agent to help remove hateful advertisers on the website.
Twitter also offered a feature which would allow tweets to be removed selectively by country. Before, deleted tweets used to be removed in all countries.
The first use of the policy was to block the account of German neo-Nazi group Besiers Hanover on October 18, 2012.
The policy was used again the following day to remove anti-Semitic French tweets with a hashtag #UnBonJew, a good Jew. Followed the sharing of images showing the killing of American journalist James Foley in 2014. Twitter said that in certain cases it would delete pictures of people who had died after requests from family members and authorized individuals. In 2015, following updated terms of service and privacy policy, Twitter users outside the United States were legally served by the Ireland-based Twitter International Company instead of Twitter Incorporated.
The change made these users subject to Irish and European Union data protection laws.
On April 8, 2020, Twitter announced that users outside of the European Economic Area or United Kingdom, thus subject to GDPR, will no longer be allowed to opt out of sharing mobile app advertising measurements to Twitter third-party partners. On October 9, 2020, Twitter took additional steps to counter misleading campaigns ahead of the 2020 US election.
Twitter's new temporary update encouraged users to add their own commentary before retweeting a tweet by making quoting tweet a mandatory feature instead of optional.
The social network giant aimed at generating context and encouraging the circulation of more thoughtful content.
After limited results, the company ended this experiment in December 2020.
On May 25, 2022, Twitter was fined $150 million for collecting users' phone numbers and email addresses used for security and using them for targeted advertising, required to notify its users, and then from profiting from deceptively collected data.
The Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and the Department of Justice stated that Twitter violated a 2011 agreement not to use personal security data for targeted advertising.
In September 2024, the FTC released a report summarizing 9 company responses, including from Twitter, to orders made by the agency pursuant to Section 6(b) of the Federal Trade Commission Act of 1914 to provide information about user and non-user data collection, including of children and teenagers, and data used by the companies that found that the company's user and non-user data practices put individuals vulnerable to identity theft, stalking, unlawful discrimination, emotional distress and mental health issues, social stigma, and reputational harm. In August 2013, Twitter announced plans to introduce a report of views button for all versions of the site following uproar, including a petition with 100,000 signatures over tweets that included rape and death threats to historian Mary Beard, feminist campaigner Caroline Criado Perez, and the Member of Parliament Stella Creasy.
Twitter announced new reporting and blocking policies in December 2014, including a blocking mechanism devised by Randy Harper, a target of Gamergate.
In February 2015, CEO Dick Costolo said he was frankly ashamed at how poorly Twitter handled trolling and abuse, and admitted Twitter had lost users as a result. As per a research study conducted by IT for Change on Abuse and Misogynistic Trolling on Twitter directed at Indian women in public political life, women perceived to be ideologically left-leaning dissenters. Muslim women, political dissenters, and political commentators and women from opposition parties received a disproportionate amount of abusive and hateful messages on Twitter. In 2016, Twitter announced the creation of the Twitter Trust and Safety Council to help ensure that people feel safe expressing themselves on Twitter.
The council's inaugural members included 50 organizations and individuals.
The announcement of Twitter's Trust and Safety Council was met with objection from parts of its user base.
Critics accused the member organizations of being heavily skewed towards the restriction of hate speech. A recent article expressed concern that there's not a single uncompromising anti-censorship figure or group on the list.
Twitter banned 7,000 accounts and limited 150,000 more that had ties to Canon on July 21, 2020.
The bans and limits came after Canon-related accounts began harassing other users through practices of swarming or brigading coordinated attacks on these individuals through multiple accounts in the weeks prior.
Those accounts, limited by Twitter, will not appear in searches nor be promoted in other Twitter functions.
Twitter said they will continue to ban or limit accounts as necessary, with their support accounts stating, "We will permanently suspend accounts tweeting about these topics that we know are engaged in violations of our multi-account policy, coordinating abuse around individual victims, or are attempting to evade a previous suspension."
In September 2021, Twitter began beta testing a feature called Safety Mode.
The functionality aims to limit unwelcome interactions through automated detection of negative engagements.
If a user has safety mode enabled, authors of tweets that are identified by Twitter's technology as being harmful or exercising uninvited behavior will be temporarily unable to follow the account, send direct messages, or see tweets from the user with enabled functionality during the temporary block period.
Jared Doherty, senior product manager at Twitter, stated that the technology in place within safety mode assesses existing relationships to prevent blocking accounts that the user frequently interacts with.
In January 2016, Twitter was sued by a widow of a U.S. man killed in the 2015 Amman shooting attack, claiming that allowing the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, ISIL, to continually use the platform, including direct messages in particular, constituted the provision of material support to a terrorist organization, which is illegal under U.S. federal law.
Twitter disputed the claim, stating that violent threats and the promotion of terrorism deserve no place on Twitter and, like other social networks, our rules make that clear.
The lawsuit was dismissed by the United States District Court for the Northern District of California, upholding the Section 230 Safe Harbor, which dictates that the operators of an interactive computer service are not liable for the content published by its users.
The lawsuit was revised in August 2016, providing comparisons to other telecommunications devices.
The second amended complaint was dismissed by the District Court, a decision affirmed on appeal to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit on January 31, 2018. Twitter suspended multiple parody accounts that satirized Russian politics in May 2016, sparking protests and raising questions about where the company stands on freedom of speech.
Following public outcry, Twitter restored the accounts the next day without explaining why the accounts had been suspended.
The same day, Twitter, along with Facebook, Google, and Microsoft, jointly agreed to a European Union Code of Conduct obligating them to review the majority of valid notifications for removal of illegal hate speech posted on their services within 24 hours.
In August 2016, Twitter stated that it had banned 235,000 accounts over the past 6 months, bringing the overall number of suspended accounts to 360,000 accounts in the past year for violating policies banning use of the platform to promote extremism.
On May 10, 2019, Twitter announced that they suspended 166,513 accounts for promoting terrorism in the July to December 2018 period, stating there was a steady decrease in terrorist groups trying to use the platform owing to its zero-tolerance policy enforcement.
According to the JHAD Legal, Policy and Trust and Safety Lead at Twitter, there was a reduction of 19% terror-related tweets from the previous reporting period, January to June 2018.
As of July 30, 2020, Twitter will block URLs in tweets that point to external websites that contain malicious content, such as malware and phishing content, as well as hate speech, speech encouraging violence, terrorism, child sexual exploitation, breaches of privacy, and other similar content that is already banned as part of the content of tweets on the site.
Users that frequently point to such sites may have their accounts suspended.
Twitter said this was to bring their policy in line to prevent users from bypassing their tweet content restrictions by simply linking to the banned content. Following the onset of protests by Donald Trump's supporters across the U.S. in January 2021, Twitter suspended more than 70,000 accounts, stating that they shared harmful Canon-associated content at a large scale and were dedicated to the propagation of this conspiracy theory across the service. Between January and late July 2017, Twitter had identified and shut down over 7,000 fake accounts created by Iranian influence operations. In May 2018, in response to scrutiny over the misuse of Twitter by those seeking to maliciously influence elections, Twitter announced that it would partner with a non-profit organization Ballotpedia to add special labels verifying the authenticity of political candidates running for election in the U.S. In December 2019, Twitter removed 5,929 accounts for violating their manipulation policies.
The company investigated and attributed these accounts to a single state-run information operation which originated in Saudi Arabia.
The accounts were reported to be a part of a larger group of 88,000 accounts engaged in spammy behavior.
However, Twitter did not disclose all of them as some could possibly be legitimate accounts taken over through hacking.
In March 2021, Twitter suspended around 3,500 fake accounts that were running a campaign to influence the American audience after the U.S. intelligence officials concluded that the assassination of the Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi was approved by the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
These Saudi accounts were working in 2 languages, English and Arabic, to influence public opinion around the issue.
Many accounts commented directly on the tweets of U.S.-based media houses, including the Post, CNN, CBS News, and the Los Angeles Times.
Twitter was unable to identify the source of the influence campaign.
As of 2022, the top 4 countries spreading state-linked Twitter misinformation are Russia, China, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. A bot is a computer program that can automatically tweet, retweet, and follow other accounts.
Twitter's open application programming interface and the availability of cloud servers make it possible for bots to exist within the social networking site.
The 9 bots may generate creative, content and relevant product updates, whereas malicious bots can make unpopular people seem popular, push irrelevant products on users, and spread misinformation, spam or slander.
Bots amass significant influence and have been noted to sway elections, influence the stock market, appeal to the public, and attack governments.
As in 2015, Twitter said there were 20 million fake accounts on Twitter, representing less than 5% of active users.
A 2020 estimate put the figure at 15% of all accounts, or around 48 million accounts.
A Twitter bot is a type of software bot that controls a Twitter account via the Twitter API.
The social bot software may autonomously perform actions such as tweeting, retweeting, liking, following, unfollowing, or direct messaging other accounts.
The automation of Twitter accounts is governed by a set of automation rules that outline proper and improper uses of automation.
Proper usage includes broadcasting helpful information, automatically generating interesting or creative content, and automatically replying to users via direct message.
Improper usage includes circumventing API rate limits, violating user privacy, spamming, and sock puppeting.
Twitter bots may be part of a larger botnet.
They can be used to influence elections and in misinformation campaigns. Twitter's policies do allow non-abusive bots, such as those created as a benign hobby or for artistic purposes, or posting helpful information. Although price changes introduced to the previously free API service in June 2023 resulted in many such accounts closing. Many non-malicious bots are popular for their entertainment value.
However, as technology and the creativity of bot makers improves, so does the potential for Twitter bots that fill social needs.
TaBNWNE is a Twitter bot that encourages followers to practice self-care, and brands are increasingly using automated Twitter bots to engage with customers in interactive ways.
One anti-bullying organization has created a nice bot, which attempts to combat the prevalence of mean tweets by automatically tweeting kind messages.
In June 2023, Twitter began charging $100 per month for basic access to its API, resulting in many entertainment bots being suspended or taken down. Concerns about political Twitter bots include the promulgation of malicious content, increased polarization, and the spreading of fake news.
A subset of Twitter bots, programmed to complete social tasks, played an important role in the United States 2016 presidential election.
Researchers estimated that pro-Trump bots generated 4 tweets for every pro-Clinton automated account and out-tweeted pro-Clinton bots 7 column 1 on relevant hashtags during the final debate.
Deceiving Twitter bots fooled candidates and campaign staffers into retweeting misappropriated quotes and accounts affiliated with incendiary ideals.
Twitter bots have also been documented to influence online politics in Venezuela.
In 2019, 20% of the global Twitter threads were found to be created automatically using bots originating from Turkey.
It is reported that 108,000 bot accounts were all tweeting to push 19,000 keywords to top trends in Turkey to promote slogans such as political campaigns related to the 2019 Turkish local elections. In November 2022, Chinese bots coordinately flooded Twitter with garbage information, for example, online gambling ads, so as to distract the user's attention away from the protests.
These bots, disguised as attractive girls, hashtag the major cities in China.
The majority of Twitter accounts following public figures and brands are often fake or inactive, making the number of Twitter followers a celebrity as a difficult metric for gauging popularity.
While this cannot always be helped, some public figures who have gained or lost huge quantities of followers in short periods of time have been accused of discreetly paying for Twitter followers.
For example, the Twitter accounts of Sean Combs, Rep. Jared Paulus, D. Colo, PepsiCo, Mercedes-Benz, and 50 Cent have come under scrutiny for possibly engaging in the buying and selling of Twitter followers, which is estimated to be between a $40 million and $360 million business annually.
Account sellers may charge a premium for more realistic accounts that have Twitter profile pictures and bios and retweet the accounts they follow.
In addition to an ego boost, public figures may gain more lucrative endorsement contracts from inflated Twitter metrics.
For brands, however, the translation of online buzz and social media followers into sales has recently come under question after the Coca-Cola Company disclosed that a corporate study revealed that social media buzz does not create a spike in short-term sales.
It is sometimes desirable to identify when a Twitter account is controlled by an internet bot.
Following a test period, Twitter rolled out labels to identify bot accounts and automated tweets in February 2022.
Detecting non-human Twitter users has been of interest to academics. In a 2012 paper, Chu et al. Proposed the following criteria that indicate that an account may be a bot. They were designing an automated system. Periodic and regular timing of tweets.
Whether the tweet content contains known spam, and
the ratio of tweets from mobile versus desktop as compared to an average human Twitter user. Emilio Ferrar at the University of Southern California used artificial intelligence to identify Twitter bots.
He found that humans reply to other tweets 4 or 5 times more than bots, and that bots continue to post longer tweets over time.
Bots also post at more regular time gaps, for example, tweeting at 30-minute or 60-minute intervals. Indiana University has developed a free service called Botometer, formerly Bot or Not, which scores Twitter handles based on their likelihood of being a Twitter bot. Recent research from EPFL argued that classifying a Twitter account as bot or not may not be always possible because hackers take over human accounts and use them as bots temporarily or permanently, and in parallel to the owner of the account in some cases. There are many different types of Twitter bots and their purposes vary from one to another.
Some examples include
@Betelgeuse_3 sends that replies in response to tweets that include the phrase, Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse.
the tweets are sent in the voice of a lead character from the Beetlejuice film.
Congress edits and Parliament edits posts whenever someone makes edits to Wikipedia from the United States Congress and United Kingdom Parliament IP addresses, respectively.
@Congress Edits was suspended in 2018, while @Parliament Edits is still running.
@DBZ never replied with, what? 9,000? To anyone on Twitter that used the internet meme phrase over 9,000.
The account began in 2011 and was eventually suspended in 2015.
Dear Assistant sends auto-reply tweets responding to complex queries in simple English by utilizing Wolfram Alpha.
TaBNWNE is a recurrent neural network created at MIT that releases tweets imitating Donald Trump's speech patterns.
It received its namesake from the term Donald Trump, popularized in the segment Donald Trump from the show Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
And drop the I want tweets the message. People are illegal. Try saying undocumented immigrant or unauthorized immigrant instead. To Twitter, users who have sent a tweet containing the phrase illegal immigrant.
It was created by American Fusion.net journalists Jorge Rivas and Patrick Hogan.
And every word has tweeted every word of the English language.
It started in 2007 and tweeted every 30 minutes until 2014.
TaBNWNE_first_ sent tweets every time the New York Times uses a word for the first time.
It was created by artist and engineer Max Dicker in 2017.
FactBot1 was created by Eric Dress to illustrate what he believed to be a prevalent problem, that of people on the internet believing unsupported facts which accompany pictures.
Every word was tweeted every word in the English language preceded by. But Twitter suspended it midway through operation because the account tweeted it.
Every word was created by someone else after the suspension to resurrect the task, which it completed in 2020.
AdWords eBooks was a bot that gained a following among people who found its tweets poetic.
It has inspired various underlying ebooks, suffix Twitter bots, which use Markov text generators or similar techniques to create new tweets by mashing up the tweets of their owner.
It went an active following a brief promotion for Bear Stearns Bravo. Add infinite underline screen tweets and auto replies a 2 to 39 character screen.
At least partially inspired by Edward Munch's The Scream, it attracted attention from those distressed by the presidency of Donald Trump and bad news.
Metaphor Magnet is an AI bot that generates metaphorical insights using its knowledge base of stereotypical properties and norms.
A companion bot at Metaphor Mirror pairs these metaphors to news tweets.
Another companion bot, at Best of Bot Worlds, uses metaphor to generate faux religious insights. TaBNWNE finds tweets incidentally written in iambic pentameter using the CMU pronouncing dictionary, pairs them into couplets using a rhyming dictionary, and retweets them as couplets into follower feeds.
Red Scare bot tweets in the persona of Joseph McCarthy in response to Twitter posts mentioning socialist, communist, or communism.
TinyCareBot promotes simple self-care actions to its followers, such as remembering to look up from your screens, taking a break to go outside, and drink more water.
It will also send a self-care suggestion if you tweet directly at it.
Disinfo News Disinformation News Aggregator automatically retweets tweets that shares news articles or scientific work related to disinformation, bots or trolls, from experts relevant to those topics. In 2009, based on a study by Sysomos, Twitter bots were estimated to create approximately 24% of tweets on Twitter.
According to the company, there were 20 million, fewer than 5% of accounts on Twitter that were fraudulent in 2015.
In 2015, two Italian researchers calculated 10% of total accounts on Twitter were bots, although other estimates have placed the figure even higher.
One significant academic study in 2017 estimated that up to 15% of Twitter users were automated bot accounts.
A 2020 estimate puts the figure at 15% of all accounts, or around 48 million accounts. A 2023 MIT study found that third-party tools used to detect bots may not be as accurate as they are trained on data, being collected in simplistic ways, and each tweet in these training sets then manually labeled by people as a bot or a human.
Already in 2019, German researchers scrutinized studies that were using bots watch and botometer, dismissing them as fundamentally flawed, and concluded that, unlike spam accounts, there is no evidence that social bots even exist.
The prevalence of Twitter bots, coupled with the ability of some bots to give seemingly human responses, has enabled these non-human accounts to garner widespread influence.
The social implications these Twitter bots potentially have on human perception are sizable.
Looking at the computers as social actors, TaBNWNE, the journal notes, people exhibit remarkable social reactions to computers and other media, treating them as if they were real people or real places.
The study concluded that Twitter bots were viewed as credible and competent in communication and interaction, making them suitable for transmitting information in the social media sphere.
Whether posts are perceived to be generated by humans or bots depends on partisanship, a 2023 study found. We will continue about Twitter/X in part 8, so stay tuned.